Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the next video in this 30-day wedding photography crash course. I'm Josiah Blizzard, and we're going to jump into a wedding day timeline here. If you're not sending wedding day timelines to your couples already, I would suggest that you get that out to them. Something that we do is we build that timeline in for them when we have their consultation. We get them on the phone, and more often than not, I end up creating a sample timeline for them to use whether they book us or not. This is something that they value from us, and that gives them some confidence in us as photographers, because we're staying on top of the schedule. They know that they can trust us and that we're going to keep them on time, even when they're not using a planner, because let's face it, more often than not, we're not working with a planner. We're running the day all on our own. So creating that timeline is a vital piece of the wedding photography process for us. If we don't create that timeline up front, we'll often somewhere create it in the first couple of months of the process. And if for some reason it doesn't come up there, the last time it will come up is about 2 months before the wedding. We'll send off a very large questionnaire. It's really, really long. It's like 100 questions, and it has everything that we need to know, including start times for ceremony, if they're having a first look, what time their cocktail hour starts, their reception starts, all of those sorts of things. So we send that off to them. And once that's filled out, we can create a timeline for them. And if we've already created the timeline, then that's when we're finalizing the timeline, because we have all of their details in. We know exactly what's happening. We know what addresses people are getting ready at, the addresses for the church, the addresses for the reception, and we finalize those timelines. So the timeline is key, because if you go off schedule even just a little bit, things shift and stress happens. And so if you're able to keep them on time, it goes a long, long way. We have a formula that we follow that we've kind of developed over the last couple of years. We know how long it takes for us to shoot a first look and portraits. We know how long we need for bridal party, how long we need for family, those sort of things. For instance, we know we need 45 minutes to an hour to deliver the best portraits possible to them. So we schedule out 45 minutes to an hour, and that also includes some buffer time if she is late getting to the venue, or if she's late getting into her dress, or hair and makeup runs over time. We know that, yeah, that might cut into our portrait time, but we schedule a full hour with them anyway. And if it gets cut down to 45 minutes or even 30 minutes, we can handle 30 minutes easy. But having more time means more portraits for them, and it means a more fun time and fun experience for both the photographer and the couple and the client. So we know we need 30 minutes for bridal party. We always schedule out 30 minutes for bridal party, because that 30 minutes goes really, really fast, and the bridal party appreciates when they're not stuck taking photos for a full hour. So we'll do 10-ish minute slots for each of them. So the full bridal party will take 10 minutes, the groomsmen will take 10 minutes, and the bridesmaids will take 10 minutes. Typically, we'll do the full group up front first, and then go into the bridesmaids, and then the bridesmaids and the bride can go inside and get out of maybe any guest site that are showing up, and then we'll do the groomsmen last, and they can go in last when we're done. So it just depends. I am gonna show you guys an example timeline for 8 hours with a first look in just a moment. And over on the Patreon that I'm creating, I'm going to include a lot of sample timelines for you guys. So if you guys sign up for the Patreon, you guys can get some access to sample timelines. And timelines are going to change based on the ceremony length. If you're doing it in a Catholic church, what your travel time might be. But if you guys can create these sample blocks, you need 45 minutes. You always schedule 45 minutes for first look. Then you're going to be able to create this timeline and reverse engineer the timing of the wedding day. And it goes a long way with your clients, with your couples. They will appreciate you keeping them on time, because it shows initiative. It shows that you're caring about their images and caring about them. And we know that if they get off time, it's okay. We've built in buffer time, but if they do get off time, things can get stressed. And when we know exactly what's happening at every single point in the wedding day, it means we can perform the best, we can give the best photos, we can capture the best photos, and we can be on our A game, because we know exactly what is happening at each point in the wedding day. So let's jump into a quick timeline here. Just really fast, I can show you what we do, when we do it, how we schedule these wedding days out. And like I said, it changes here and there based on the wedding. Okay, so let's jump right into a timeline, an example timeline for 8 hours of coverage with a first look. The majority of our weddings have first looks, and the majority of our weddings are 8 hours long. We'll start by arriving at 1 p.m. and we'll begin shooting details. These are the lay flat images of details, shoes, and that sort of thing. And then we'll photograph getting ready at the same time. Typically, Steph takes details. I'll take getting ready. At 2 o'clock, the bridesmaids will get into their dresses 15 minutes prior to the bride getting into her dress. 2:15, the bride gets into her dress, and we schedule around 30 minutes for that just to have some buffer time. She'll also get in her jewelry and shoes, etc. 2:45 is the first look, and that takes anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minutes, depending on how long they want to talk for. 5 minutes later, we'll jump right into portraits, and we schedule out 45 minutes to an hour for these sometimes. So 3:30 p.m., we'll jump into bridal party photos, the entire group and bridesmaids and just groomsmen. That lasts about 40 minutes. Family formals is right after that, and we'll do pretty much immediate family only in this for about 20 to 30 minutes. 30 minutes prior to the ceremony starting, we end all photos and allow the bride and groom to prep for their ceremony. And 5 o'clock, we start shooting the ceremony. We blend into the background and we just kind of shoot whatever happens. Most of it takes about 30 minutes, and then we can do some additional families portraits afterwards and some reception setup and flash setup for the reception. At 6:30, the reception begins. First and parent dances happen. And at this point, the timeline is just whatever the DJ has made with the bride and groom. We just kind of go with the flow, but typically this is kind of what happens. So at some point, we'll steal them for sunset photos. 7:15, 8 o'clock, somewhere around there is pretty much the time that we steal them in the summer. I would say that you got to make sure that you take them 15 minutes before the official sunset time, because that's when the sun actually sets, right? You want to take them 15 minutes before the sun sets. So guys, I hope that was helpful. Biggest suggestion is when you get them on the phone or you meet them in person for a consultation, or even if you're only communicating with them over email, maybe find out what time their ceremony is starting, what time their reception is starting, how long each thing might be. Find out the key moments, the key timing for the wedding day, and if they're doing a first look or not, and then create them a sample timeline for them to use in their wedding planning process. This will help them plan around the timeline as well. They'll know what time hair and makeup needs to finish to be at the first look on time, how long it's going to take for her to get in her wedding dress, that sort of thing. So if you can create that first for them before any vendor creates one for them, then it'll be a photography-based timeline, and it'll be really, really helpful for the couple, but also for you as the photographer. You will be on your A game. You'll know exactly when everything is happening because you were the one who scheduled it. So create that timeline first, and it'll add value to your wedding photography services. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you already make a timeline for your couples? Or do you not know how to make a timeline for your couples? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below and we can talk about this a little bit. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would love for you to subscribe and maybe share this with a friend who might find this content valuable. And I will see you tomorrow for another video.